The beloved is radiant like the sun. The lovers are turning around him like atoms. When the spring breeze of love begins to blow, every branch which is not dry starts dancing. Chapter which had sort of grown inside me, but it was just waiting to be opened. So it opened with Gaman, and it opened with a kind of a issue which was the topmost issue, okay, why people leave Awadh and come to big cities and lose their identity. So that is what Calcutta did for me, and that is what Mr. Ray did for me. What he did, how he did it. I think, first of all, it was a very impressionable time of my life. I'd just come out of Aligarh, where a new sensitivity to poetry and culture was kind of strengthened in my mind, and just then I went into Calcutta, and for me Calcutta was like Alice in Wonderland. There's so much poetry, there's so much music, people were passionate about art, and there's also a kind of a revolution brewing also. So that kind of a thing made a lot of difference to my thought process. And that's where I met Mr. Ray, and I was very inspired by the fact that he took such great pains in creating cinema, and cinema through Calcutta had taken a global feel. This film on the river by Renoir that was made. So there was a lot of European influence coming in. So a new cinema was being created. I was at that impressionable age where I was very inspired by going into a dark theatre and then images unfolding and creating their own, setting their own kind of terms of reference. So then I realized that maybe something on my culture of Awadh should be touched upon, and that's when I felt that maybe Awadh needs a separate kind of a mind to deal with. You're respecting any thoughts, तो इसी तरह से ये जितना भी काम हमने किया है, it's got some connection. Even the Sufi Jahan-e-Khusrau, that movement, now everybody would like to sing Sufi. We started that 20 years back. Now I could take it to a certain level, and I'm trying to keep that level going. But people are doing it in as good a way as they can. We've introduced a lot of new singers. We've introduced a lot of talent, and that talent is now, in its own way, taking the whole thing forward. Like, Panjari Chaturvedi used to work with me. Now she's doing her own Kathak, Sufi Kathak. So इस तरीके से बहुत से लोग हैं जिन्होंने हमारे साथ शुरू किया, and they found a direction in their life. Each year I choose poetry. At least over 3 days I at least choose 6 poems. And I try to work with new people who have the time to give me a new feeling to those poems. That's one thing. Then the theme, like I've been inspired by the rivers, so this year we're going to call it the rivers of love, and there's a whole thing on the Ganga. Last year it was Yamuna. Then again we are trying to, the way we put it across, the whole set and the whole scenario, and it looks like a film, it's a 3-day film in 3 parts, So I think it's a nice feeling. People come there to experience that newness, freshness. It's not a packaged thing, like what, I don't even show faces of the artists, I don't even take their name. People know that so-and-so is singing, but I don't advertise their name. They're coming for a feeling, what I mean? He made a deep impact on me when I was in Aligarh, and he was the poetry of the modern mind, what I mean? And some of it impacted me so much that I used his poetry as it was in, let's say, Gaman. सीने में जलन आँखों में तूफान सा क्यों है, इस शहर में हर शख्स परेशान सा क्यों है. Then after that, when I made my second film, Umrao Jaan, then I realized that first I thought one shouldn't ask a poet to write for a film. But then I realized that now he was not writing as Shahriyar. He was writing as Umrao Jan would write, or how I would present Umrao Jan on cinema. So then the whole trajectory of her growth had to come through lyrics. My relationship with Shahriyar was very creative. It had its ups and downs, but intense. It was very focused and based on developing of characters. Umrao Jan was there, Anjuman was there, Zuni was there. And I was also making another film on Noor Jahan. So he wrote a lot for me. And he wrote with a lot of depth. He would come and stay with me in Bombay. And then poetry was born. Poetry was not bought, It was born out of a, let's say, long interaction, discourse, getting into the screenplay, getting into the music. These days, I think these are difficult things. In those days, I had this house which could, on different levels, different things could happen. The beloved is radiant like the sun. The lovers are turning around him like atoms. When the spring breeze of love begins to blow, every branch which is not dry starts dancing. Obviously, I think what you seek is seeking you is an eternal truth. There's nothing, because one is made of a kind of a universal matter, and that matter is made of something which is in quest, and what it is in quest of is also something which is attracting you. So I think basically the bottom line of all this is ishq, love. आदमी को इश्क की तलाश है और इश्क ही उसको ढूंढ रहा है, कोई दूसरी चीज़ नहीं है. इश्क ही हर चीज़ में है, हर चीज़ में इश्क है. तो that is the whole I think summary of Rumi, and Rumi like people like Khusrau. And वक्त तो बदलता रहता है, आते हैं लोग, जाते हैं, दुनिया अपने रंग में रंगती है, लेकिन जो हम लोगों का सफ़र है, दिल का सफ़र है, वो तो अपनी जगह पे जारी है. And we have to keep this mission and this flame alive in people's hearts. Ishq ka jo hai. I mean, today a river is so important. The last two events we've had rivers. Like Yamuna Darya Prem ka. This year we're going to have the Ganga Nama. So I think the rivers have to be used to unite people.